What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of the 5 takeaways, where we're going to take a look at our 1-1 draw at Anfield yesterday and see what 5 things we can take away from the game. And let's start off with number 1, and that is Liverpool restricted.
So it was a really solid defensive display yesterday from Tottenham, and no more evidence of that is the fact that Liverpool recorded their second lowest expected goals tally throughout the whole of the campaign yesterday, second only to when they played Man City at Anfield earlier in October. It was a brilliant, resolute defensive display from Spurs to keep out what is an unbelievable Liverpool attack, even with players coming off the bench as well to try and reinforce that. Spurs still kept them at bay with only conceding obviously at long range deflected effort. Liverpool were very much restricted to long range, very low XG shots. So even though if you look at the stats, it says, Liverpool had 20 plus shots, a lot of them were from outside the box and a lot of them were blocked. So Tottenham come away with this with one of the best defensive displays against Liverpool this season, I would say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Spot on there. Absolutely. If not the best, I think that they were absolutely insane yesterday. The way Conte set them up, the way the team responded to Conte setting them up as well, I thought all of them had unbelievable displays. And you saw Liverpool getting just so frustrated, and I've never seen them get as frustrated as that at Anfield for a while now. So big up to Conte and big up to the defenders that really put in a shift yesterday, and we really stifled Liverpool for the most part of that game. And they scored with a lucky deflected goal at the end of the day, and that's all they could do to hurt us. But is what it is. We didn't win the game, unfortunately, but we move on to the second takeaway, and that is a royal arrival.
So let's hope this is the real arrival of Emerson Royal, because we've been waiting for the whole season for him to put a performance like this. But look, he did really show up yesterday, and I thought he put in a really impressive display, and the stats back it up as well. He made 4 tackles, 3 completed crosses in a 90-minute period. Never thought I'd hear that. He won 7 out of 9 ground duels. He won 4. He completed 4 out of 5 long passes as well. And it was a very, very accomplished display, also completing 2 dribbles as well. So really great display from Emerson Royal, and he really came along yesterday in compared to how he was playing before.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a bit of a coming of age performance for Emerson Royal. I thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. I mean, the passing on show yesterday was just something I've never seen in his locker. Those long cross-field passes, switches of play that really, really helped us yesterday. And not only that, but his defensive display was on point. Not many players got past him throughout the day, 100% tackles. The guy was absolutely imperious yesterday. And hopefully this is the start of something new for Emerson, because a lot of people, including us, have been laying into Emerson all season, and quite rightly so. But yesterday was definitely a step in the right direction, and let's hope he can kick on from here. I really hope so. But do you think that performance alone isn't enough to keep him at the club, is it?
I don't think one performance for anyone is enough, but at least it was a start. And I think that I think he has had some solid performances he hasn't got credit for in the past, like earlier in the season against Liverpool and against Man City. He played fairly decent. But it seems to be when he's restricted with space and teams sit back and allow him to just cross the ball while loading the penalty area, he seems to struggle. But in games like yesterday, he seemed to be in his element.
Yeah, do you think it's a case of maybe get an attacking right wing back in, and you can mix and match between him and Emerson for the big games and the smaller games? Not big games, smaller games, but games where we have more space and less space.
Yeah, potentially. I still don't think I want to see Emerson do it from now to the end of the season, but for sure, I guess that performance does put into perspective that he could potentially be a good defensive right wing back, but it's only one performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to number 3, and that is Giant Killers.
And Spurs now this season, the only team in the Premier League to be unbeaten against Man City and Liverpool in the 4 games this season, taking 6 points off City and earning 2 points against Liverpool as well. Proving that Conte, I think, can show now on a consistent basis he can really mix it with the big boys. He can really come up with a tactical plan coming up in these big games to get us over the line and get us points. And that's something we've been massively lacking for a very, very long time now, and potentially something we've never had, you could argue. And even under Pochettino, at home we would give the big boys a good go, but away from home we would usually crumble. And now again under Conte, unbeaten away at Liverpool and away at City shows what the potential could be under him.
Absolutely. And does it prove these results against the Man Cities and the Liverpools, if we back Conte and do what we want and improve against the smaller sides, maybe can we fight for the title next season?
I don't think it proves we can fight for the title, but it proves that if you back Conte, that you're guaranteed to get an improvement. I think the way he's got us playing with the squad we have is exceptional. And imagine if he just had some of his own players, how a much better of a side we could be. And I think that's proof of it.
Yeah, and I said it in the live stream before, but I just so pissed off with Levy again for like not giving Conte what he wanted in the summer. Because if he did, and Conte came here in the summer, I think we would be sealed easily in fourth by now. I really believe that. But let's move on to the fourth takeaway, and that is 20 is plenty for Sonny.
And it was another left-footed effort yesterday, but we're not going to talk about that. It's just he's 20 goals in the Premier League season up for Sonny. I think the first time he's hit that milestone personally. First Spurs player to hit 20 non-penalty Premier League goals since Gareth Bale back in 2013. Really impressive showing. And also he's proven again that he's a big game player. That's now 3 goals and 2 assists in 4 games against Man City and Liverpool for Sonny. And he came up trumps when we needed him to, and he definitely was our biggest threat on the counter-attack again yesterday. Another impressive display, another goal for Sonny, and another great season for him.
Yeah, I mean, not many would have thought coming into the season that Sonny would be outscoring Harry Kane after the goal-scoring form that Kane was on last season, but he has done that. Credit to him. My player of the year for Tottenham, hands down, Sonny. He's done it all season, and he's had his critics this year as well, which, rightly or wrongly so, doesn't really matter. I think he's had an absolutely astonishing season, always a threat, and even when he don't seem to be playing well, he always chips in with a goal or assist as well. So big up Sonny, and maybe he can fight Salah for this golden boot from now to the end of the season.
2 behind. Yeah. 3 games to go. No reason why he can't get at least a couple of goals, and it's on Salah to match that.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, the 5th and final takeaway is proud but costly point.
Yeah, it's a shame because as much as we want to take the positivity from the point yesterday, in terms of the season overall and what it means for us, there's no, undoubtedly it's more negative than positive, just because the fact that we had top 4 in our hands and now we don't have top 4 in our hands. Arsenal, unfortunately, beating Leeds, 10-man Leeds, 2 goals to 1, has left them now 4 points clear of Spurs, and we're now left with the daunting task of first we have to beat them, and the fact that if Arsenal win, it's mathematically secure for them, and we could be facing that embarrassment, unfortunately, on Thursday if that is to come to pass. So as much as people could say, it doesn't matter as much because Arsenal are 4 points clear now and we don't overtake them if we win, but we can't let them take it on our ground. That is the most important thing. We have to get all 3 points. We have to make it a battle. We have to make sure that if Arsenal are going to take top 4 from us, they need to win every game to do it. And if we win on Thursday, we can do that, but Arsenal do have a big advantage now with the win against Leeds.
They do have a big advantage, but I think they do look a bit nervy in games. I mean, that latter stages of the Leeds game, they did come under a bit of pressure against that 10-man lead, so that is a small glimmer to cling on to, and if we can beat them on the North London derby, pressure really will be on them the last 2 games of the season. So we just got to do all we can, make it a cauldron. All the fans need to play their part on Thursday and will the team over the line, and if we do beat them, then it's going to be a nervy last 2 games for them as well. We need to do our jobs as well, but there's still chances there. It's looking a bit unlikely at the moment, but there are going to be chances there if we beat them. So
yeah, I said before the game, so after we beat Leicester, I said it was like 60% Arsenal. After today, after Leicester, I said it was about 65% Arsenal. After today, you're probably looking near 80%.
80%, you reckon?
I reckon it's that high because we have to beat them.
Yeah.
And still, if they get a draw, that's good enough for them to go into the last 2 games. So
what are the percentages
still have
of
to
us
beat
beating
them? Probably like 60% we beat them. 65% we beat them at home, I would say. I wouldn't say it's foregone conclusion, but I would say we're more likely to beat them. We're going to it favourites, I reckon, at home, and especially with our record at home against them, and hopefully the atmosphere pumping, and we put them under pressure. I don't even think they're playing that well, Arsenal.
They're not.
They're just getting over the line. Look, they're tackling the goalkeeper. I mean, come on, who can write that? You know what I mean?
They're being given gifts in every single game.
So let's just hope
every single game.
Last
we need
2
these
games
gifts to dry up, and what I'm taking from it is that Newcastle, I know they're losing at the moment and they lost last week to Liverpool at home, but they are generally playing well at the moment. And you're talking about Liverpool, Man City, the two best teams in the league, and Everton have turned a corner recently as well. So hopefully Everton will still need to get something in that last game of the season. So these two games are going to be difficult for them. I'm sure of it. So,
but we have to win all our games. We have to beat them and then win all our games and hope that they drop points. So I have it about 80% Arsenal at the moment.
In your opinion, if we win on Thursday, what do the percentages change to?
If we win on Thursday, it drops significantly to about, I would say about 60. I would say about in the 60% range still for Arsenal, because they need 2 wins in those games.
Yeah, it'll still be in their hands.
Yeah.
So. All right, well, that is our 5 takeaways from the 1-1 draw up at Anfield yesterday. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.